So here it is, another episode and then a little mini episode of Lighting Answers. I'm Joe DeGanzik, and you're probably wondering, why do I look like some character from Star Trek, and why am I doing this kind of crazy thing? Well, I'm trying to make these episodes a little more interesting, and right now with the new place I can kind of show you around. Now you're also going to say, alright, this doesn't look anything like your old place, and you're completely out of sequence, and you're right. This is completely being released out of sequence. It's completely screwy, but I figured that if I didn't release anything sort of recent, people are going to start wondering what this series is about and if I'm ever going to release anything that I'm talking about. And I have a ton of stuff shot. I just moved and into this new place and downsized, as I had been referring to a little bit. But most of what you've seen thus far was shot months ago. There is some more recent stuff that was shot in the previous place within the past few weeks. That's all going to get edited, and there's more stuff that needs to be put out there. But I figured, you know what? It's Halloween. It's time to release something, so you guys have something. That's why I'm dressed up. Was just at a here's the whole get up. This is from Star Trek Enterprise. So anyhow, I was just at an awesome Halloween-themed kind of Dr. Frankenstein wedding, and that's this is my costume for Halloween 2014. It's literally Friday night. We're almost about to get to November. So here we are. I shot some other stuff that I think I'm going to put out there also, and kind of attached to this, or little bits of things. So, it's really not much to speak of at this point. In fact, literally, I've been in. Will be my third night sleeping here, so it's pretty much brand new. This is a guest house at some very close and dear friends of mine on their wonderful property. And anyhow, it's a wonderful little space. But as you can see, as I sort of walk around here, you'll see that the bookcase is not even done. There's cardboard and so forth. It's a small space, but it's actually reasonable size, and it's going to be a lot of fun to actually adjust the space and truly make it into something truly spectacular. And so there's going to be 4 distinct zones, which you're looking at right now. If I can sort of follow this around, I'm not used to doing selfie videos. It looks like sort of a giant rainbow mess right now, but it's actually just going to be sort of multicolored. The pillow's not going to be there. And this wall, the wall that's directly behind me, and then this wall are going to both be a wonderful deep sort of forest green, has some gray tinges to it. It'll be very, very classic, something that really complements the kitchen cabinetry. But yet the kitchen is going to stay this cream color, so we have this wonderful defined living space due to seeing the color change on the walls, and it'll just really pop. It'll pop against the TV. The black against the deep green will be beautiful. I'm bringing back something. Obviously, in the other apartment, this was all lit up in a custom manner. And so that, if I can get this, there we go. So that was the art print that was in the other apartment on a beautiful sort of brick red, an antique red. And then I have this wonderful photo of one of the Metro North trains that I took, in the late 90s. That's from New York, the greater New York City kind of suburban area. And I realized that they're both black and white, so I'm going to bring that train image back as well into the mix. And they're both going to look great against that green. They're both basically kind of monochrome, and they're really going to be beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to that. So here we go. Now we're going to go backward. Hopefully I'm not going to crash into anything. It's probably actually easier going forward. But anyhow, let's just look here. The place is completely not in any way set up. Except for a couple things, kind of love seats here, and you've got a small table and a very, very ultra colorful carpet, and you've got ideas of what things could go, as you know this from the previous location. And then you've got paint swatches kind of on the walls, and more artwork that's sitting ready to be deployed that's nowhere, but yeah, you got a lot of blank walls and funky stuff. Yes, well, at the end of the day, I just moved into this place about 2 weeks ago. And this is the process of moving in and settling and figuring things out. In fact, watch this. I don't even have any automation. All the, I could get out I could call this a tricorder. It's like the tricorder pocket. I could get out my iPod and get out my app, but it's not going to do me any good. There is no automation. I don't even have a Nest thermostat installed here because it's going to get updated. Some wiring issues are going to get resolved tomorrow. But look, physical switches, like you've never seen that on this show. And look, non-interactive thermostats. How terribly boring is that? So this is actually a lesson in knowing what you need out of life and what you need out of your space before you automate it, before you actually go through the entire process. And whether that means that you've got a ton of modules, that you're transferring from some other place, or that you're simply going to be buying all new stuff. But at the end of the day, it's good to live with no automation. It's good to live with push-button controls and seeing how ugly a space can be when it's just lit up by some giant, lighting fixture. Even though that's a nice, sort of a fan light fixture, it's still brightly lit. I would normally, and ultimately there's going to be a lot of secondary lights, but normally I'm not going to have this space lit with this fan light fixture. It might be used for, kind of cleaning, when you need bright, gigantic light being thrown everywhere. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be used a lot. These can lights that you see that were already installed here that I've already converted to LED, these are the TCP LED light fixtures, or lamps. Let's go and focus on that, and you can see that, and we can bring this down. So you can see what's up there is what used to be in the uplights that I used to have in my other location. And we'll hopefully focus on me there. And there's another can light here. Take a look at this guy. And then of course I've got a little light where I had same kind of setup with a computer, and I've got the bookcase, and the bookcase is not even set up yet. It's just got some items that were on a table that the table didn't fit in my bedroom, which I thought it was going to fit. That didn't fit. When you're moving in, you're kind of like playing Tetris. Where will things fit? And how can you set up a space that doesn't feel crowded? It doesn't feel so over bloated with furniture, but somehow it's got to work. And this room, which as you can see, we can just kind of spin this around. This room is not that big. This is the main room. It's not a studio apartment. It's a guest house. You've really got to be super efficient when you're downsizing. And so that's part of where we're going to go into, is not just lighting, but a little bit of design as well. Because I could make a room, as I've said before, I could make a blank room with no color. I could make it look great with light, but there really is only so much that you can do with sort of white light in a white room. You have to ultimately add color. You have to add texture and furniture, materials, and so forth to really make something really shine. But doing that, you can still come up with something that's truly, truly simple. And my concept for so many things is a simplistic design and something that is very, very basic. But yet you can have something that's simple that does feel elegant and it does feel high-end, and that's what we're going to be showing you over the next many episodes as we finish out the design of the old space and we then move you into this new space. So this is a little bit of a preview of what you're going to see soon. I took a very large space and I automated it, and I did a lot of things with lighting in it, and now I'm going to take a much smaller space and try to create different zones in this room. There's sort of a kitchen prep zone, this is going to be adjusted because I've still got boxes everywhere. And then you've got a kitchenette, which has got hardware and lamps and coffins and things from wedding rehearsal dinners set up. And that's not finished. And then this is actually almost the most finished space at this point, which is the sort of media kind of living room space. And then you've got the office space, and those are going to be separated by a sofa table. And then you've got the bookcase, and I'm still not in love with the bookcase because it's a little bit tall, it's a little bit awkward. And perhaps it might work once things get painted and once it gets filled up. So I have to see how I like that. But anyways, so this is how you have to do things, and you have to place things and hope that it works. You can think about it, and I thought about this place once I actually decided that yes, I was going to do this and downsize. I said, let me give myself some more light so I can be seen here. I thought to myself, well, is this really going to work? You know, you can look on floor plans. You know, there's a great app called Room Scan that you can make floor plans automatically by tapping your phone to different walls. And so I did that, and I could see the space, and I thought what would go in here and what would make it feel high-end and what would make it feel cozy and all these things. But once you get in and you put the furniture there and you think about it, it's like, well, things change and certain things just don't work. So you have to make those adjustments. Speaking of things like I had an idea and I didn't know how cool it would look, but it does look really cool. And this is where it's in the small, tiny little bathroom. I got this wonderful little globe, again from IKEA, but you could get this anywhere. And yes, people might say, well, it's next to the toilet. Why would you do that? And you know, I think people put in a lot of design into fixtures in the bathroom, whether it's a pedestal sink or even something as common and some people think disgusting as like a toilet. And you can really make a space kind of shine. If I take this light out here, you can see that we've got some interesting light coming out it because it's coming from the floor. It kind of lights up a little bit of the panel, inset panel door, and then you actually do get a little bit of light in the shower because we're currently having a challenge with the overhead light fixture here, so it gives a little bit of light there. And then the other thing that I added was this really cool kind of retro looking medicine cabinet because there wasn't anything here. I went from a very large amount of storage in my bathroom, master bath at my previous place, and then basically I went to nothing here. And so I added this literally last weekend, very, very simple, and it has a really cool mirror that not only is hinged, but it flips around and rotates. So look, there it is, and you can flip it around and you know whatnot. So it's really, and it offers a great amount of storage. You can see everything in there without me having to open up my entire vanity to the world. So that really turned out very well, and you have to just make certain decisions and try things, and I had no idea about that object. I simply was at IKEA, and a lot of people might criticize me saying, well, your whole thing is IKEA. Well, there's a handful of things that aren't IKEA in this space, but they do have a tremendous amount of home furnishings that are pretty good and very inexpensive, but always look elsewhere. And I ran into some challenges where certain things just didn't work, and you have to look elsewhere. Look to other stores, look online, there's so many options these days. There's a number of changes that aren't in place yet that's not going to be in place for several weeks or a month. And so it's tough to see the final outcome at this point. And there will be more lighting. We'll go into, I haven't even talked about lighting at this point, but there's going to be track lighting. There's going to be the pendants going to the other side for the kitchen. So some things are going to transition over, some things are not. You can see these guys are the lights that were lighting up that guy in the other place. And at the end of the day, basically, I'm not going to use them again because I think they ran out their purpose, and now it's going to be integrated track lighting to make some really beautiful pools of light on the walls to really bring out that beautiful green, and I think it's really going to be fantastic. So that's it for now. This episode is out of order. What you're seeing is ultimately we're going to integrate into episodes a little bit farther into the future. So the next thing you see most likely will be back in the old place as I kind of wrap up that series there with the home automation and talking about color and so forth. So I talked a little bit about color here. I didn't tell you why I'm going with green, but I'll talk about that in a future episode. If you like the show, support us on Patreon. The information is down at the bottom of the screen, somewhere like that. Send us in your comments. I love to hear your comments and your questions and things. I'm glad that we've been able to help out people picking out LED light bulbs as things adjust in the LED lighting industries. various industries in terms of lighting. We're going to continue to bring you all that information and adapt as you need it. So please send us those things, your questions, answers, hate mail, love mail, whatever, at questions@answers.lighting. Even if it's not a question, just send it in anyways. Questions@answers.lighting. And otherwise, I'm Joe DeGanzik, and I'll talk to you next time.